Hey Forex Fortune Hunters, it's Tom Wilmot, and in this video we're going to demonstrate the power of a new template in Metatrader I call Fast Running. It's going to bring you a ton of pips, so hang on to your hat. We'll get started right after this. Okay, Fortune Hunters, let's get started on our work here. I wanted to share with you yet another template, and people ask me, how come you have so many templates? Don't they work? Well, they're all based on the basically same principle, and it's simply a different visual representation of the same numbers and price movements. But some people like more lines on their chart, other people like fewer. You can also learn from these videos that you can mix and match your indicators and have a couple different views of the same thing so that perhaps you'll get a new idea about what's likely to happen next in the marketplace. Also, it's kind of sickening to simply watch that day in and day out the same thing. And yet you do want to be consistent with your strategy. In this particular template, which I'm calling Fast Running, we have a 15-minute chart of the pound and the yen, and I think that's probably the best way to approach the time frame in this particular pair. 5 minutes is a little too short, and 30 it doesn't show as many of the kinds of pullbacks and movements into the bands that we'd like. So in any event, here was a period from day to day, and it was the 16th of January, and let's see what that was. That was last Thursday, I believe. Here, I'll show you this one. It was Thursday, the 16th of January, 2020, and we're now recording this on Martin Luther King Day, the 20th of January. Okay, so in any event, we have our chandelier, we have our stochastic, we have the MACD, and the MACD that I have here is in the drop box, as is the chandelier. These medallions represent crossovers of the 12 and 20 EMA, and that indicator is Wilmot Cross. That's also in the Dropbox file. If you have not seen any of our videos before and you'd like some free indicators and optimize just the way they are with templates like this one, you can shoot me an email. The link for that is down in the description to this video. Feel free. Everything is free. And so help yourself. Take it full advantage. Now, the bottom line is we have 12, 16, 20, and 24 EMA. And for sure you know how to do that. You have insert indicators and so on. The stochastic is new. I haven't used stochastic in any of my videos so far, but I would like to just share with you that it can be useful in this particular situation. Here was an opportunity here with a pullback into the bands. You can see here we have this. This was pretty accurate here in terms of a pullback below that. I use 25 and 75 as my levels. If you come down into this area, you can see for the most part you're getting a very good view of how the stochastic can be used in this direction, simply as an indication of when the pressure's off on the sell side. These are oversold areas here, here, and here, and you can see you do get some bounce from each one of them. Now the situation is as follows. With this particular template, what you would like are just three simple signals. One, a break of the chandelier. The resistance to the upside has been canceled. Now we have support down here, and we would like to not be in this. The chandelier stop, it's called. Your stop could go right below this level on the close. Now this one came down and tested it, but clearly it also rebounded dramatically on this 15-minute chart. Okay, so here we have the up thrust, then we wait for the pullback, and you could even take it here. You could wait for it up here, but bottom line is we have this pullback down through this area here. Now, it isn't going to be perfect every time, but let me show you another example. And here's one that happened to the downside. We had the takeout of the chandelier to the downside. We had the blue medallion, which means the 12 crossed down below the 24. Then we had the very nice pullback right here. And you can see that we came up. We didn't quite test it at the 75 level, but here we did indeed, and we had the additional pullback. And with the pound and the yen, you have a pretty good opportunity in those cases to get pips that are meaningful, 26 pips. So even if you're going to pay 3 or 4 pips on the GBP, JPY, it's really not that big a deal because you're going to get some reward for it. You just want to make sure your stops are in place. Here's a perfect example of what we're talking about. We had the crossover the 12. We had a nice rush to the north. The pull back into the bands, a nice smooth indication. Notice here is if I expand this just a little bit for you to see better. Notice that on this particular case here, what we had was the white line, now the fast stochastic moving across the weighted longer term average, and as you go through that, you can see that kind of crossover means you're in business. Now down here, don't be taking a trade until this crossover occurs. Even if it's a little bit below, you'd be in good shape. Now here we are here with another one. These are things I talked about in the book, the Zealander fly trap Forex trading strategy. Anyway, this is an indication that we don't have the pullback. There's still too much selling pressure. It can't go up. You're getting sellers each time, and then off we go down to the races. Okay, here was another indication. Down we go into the bands. Then we have this pullback area. And in each case, you're not going to be risking more than about 10 pips. Down here is 10 pips for sure, well below the chandelier. You can kind of wait for that. Here was our original pullback. Notice again the same thing happening over and over and over again, time and time again on every currency pair. The situation is a blast to the north. Here is your medallion saying the crossovers occurred. We have peaking up here, a pullback down into the bands, and in this case again, if you either go with this doji here, or if you wait until you have this little uptick, the downward thrust is no more than 10 pips, 10 or 11 pips on this 15-minute chart. Now let's take a quick peek and see if these things occur on the 5-minute. Here we go. The same thing happens here on the 5. Down we go, just at random. This happened to be back on the 13th of January. Down we go. We pull back into the bands. Down we go. We pull back. Keep your stop in place. Now be patient. These 5-minute periods mean this is going to take fully an hour before, a half hour before you're going to get the meaningful drops. Here's just one. I just pulled it up at random, as I said. Now, this one was a little less helpful. Notice that we had the takeout of the chandelier, but notice here on this 5-minute chart, there is no real crossover of the 12 and 24. The medallion is missing. It doesn't happen until here. This is a little choppy. These are pretty big, wide open candlesticks. I think I would be careful of that. What you're looking for is something that's just a gradual decline in value, a gradual increase in value. Here was a perfect one here. Down we go. Notice on the 5-minute, you're not going to get quite the number of pips in the end, so that's why I suggest maybe it's not that great, but for sure, if you are spending 3 or 4 pips, you can get 21 here, and there's nothing wrong with 15 pips time and time again. So it adds up for sure. Here's a place in the various things where, although we had the downward trend, I would say you want to be a little careful on this. Now, on a 5-minute chart, this is not going to test any of the chandeliers on the 15 or for sure on the 30, and you're simply going to get a little bit more of the rock and roll that you get with a shorter time frame. One last thing we'll do here is we'll skip to the 30 and just see how this works here. Notice that we've had an uptick here in this one, picking at random again. We have a slowdown at the end of the trading day on the U.S. market. We have a pullback into the bands and a thrust higher. And for sure, we got 34 pips on that one, and that's a minor indication. Here we go again. We have a pullback after the thrust. We wait for the medallion and the crossover, first pullback, and up we go. Okay, please check out the description below if you'd like some of those free indicators and the free indicator settings. This new template will be available in Dropbox soon. And please sign up, subscribe for future videos if these are helpful to you. Leave us a comment. or give us a like. We'd really appreciate it. And until the next time, let's get some pips. Thanks for watching.